Hello, 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 my brothers and sisters. How are you doing this evening? Your brother Tony is in the house, so come on in, come on in. I'm sure am glad to be with you this evening, my brothers and sisters. Come on in, come on in. It's dinner time. We're about to embark on the weekend, but before we get to the weekend, come in and eat with your brother Tony. I got some good soul food for you all this evening. So go ahead and invite some of your friends, my brother and sister, because we are about to get into it right now. I see that my mother have just joined in at the dinner table. The rest of you brothers and sisters, you come on in, come on in, come on in. I'm not really going to keep you that long that night. So come on in and get some of this good soul food. If this is your first time looking at this particular broadcast, my name is Tony M. Toomer, and I talk about relationships. I talk about relationships from a biblical perspective. When I say biblical, I believe strongly that God created the man, and he had a unique and special relationship with the man, first of all. Secondly, he had a unique relationship with the woman, Eve. He represented the woman, Eve, to Adam. And Adam said in the presence of God, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, I should call a woman because she came from man. That's the position that I come from, my brother and sister. If you believe in any other type of relationship, you still could sit at this dinner table and get some of this soul food. But you have what is called a free will. You do what you choose to do. But I talk about how God did it from the book of Genesis, okay? So that's my position, and I hope that you all enjoy it. So we're about to get into this particular broadcast. My brothers and sisters, we need to really learn to be serious with one another. When it comes to a relationship, my brother and sister, you know that I always say that a man and woman should approach the relationship. That man and woman should be serious-minded. And not only should that man and woman be serious-minded, that man and woman should decide to be committed to each other. And when they commit to each other, first that man need to be committed to God, and that woman need to be committed to God. And then thirdly, that man and woman should move towards the covenant part of the relationship, because that's what the type of relationship that God really wants a man and woman to be in. God does not want a man and woman playing with one another's mind, one another's emotions, one another physically, one another financially, or nothing like that. God wants a man and woman to be together, because God is going to work through that man and woman relationship. Because when it comes to spiritual matters, my brother and sister, you brother and you sister, if you're in a relationship, hopefully it's spiritual based, that you the only Bible that some people see, my brothers and sisters. So you got to be conscious. You are representing God through his son, Jesus Christ, okay? So this is where I'm coming from. So tonight's broadcast, my brother and sister, is called A Woman Must Put a Time Limit on a New Relationship. Again, tonight's broadcast is A Woman Must Put a time limit on a relationship. Now, right out of the gate, my brothers and sisters, a woman, and I'm speaking of those who are daughters of God. Let me be specific what type of women I'm talking about. I'm talking about sisters and women of God through Jesus Christ. You should never, 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 ever beg a man to love you. Some of you sisters, you are struggling. You're trying to hold on to a man that really doesn't care iota for you. So sisters, especially those of you that are daughters of God, you should never, 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 never beg a man to love you. Now, some might say, I don't beg no man to love me verbally, but you may not beg him verbally, but your actions showing that you beg this man to stay in your life. Some of you let these guys do whatever they want to do, and they know you're not going to go nowhere. Some of you sisters, you think that you can't do no better, but you can do better. God has a man for you. God had one of his sons out there for you, sisters, to find you. But most of the time, you sister, you get soul tied to the wrong type of man. Now, a virtuous woman, you shouldn't, virtuous women, you shouldn't have open doors to a man unless, listen to what I'm saying, you should never have open doors to a man unless He makes it clear that he wants to be your husband. I'm going to say that again. If you are a virtuous woman and you're thinking about your well-being, your heart, your mind, your body, and everything that you have that you know you could bring into a relationship, you should not open no doors, sister, unless that man make it clear that he wants to be your husband, not your boyfriend, not somebody that you see every now and then, not someone that cruises through at night. This man should let his position be known that he is ready to be a husband and to lead you, not to mislead you. Now, this content tonight is not no beat down on any men. So don't get me wrong. This is not no beat down on no any men. Now, unless you are not a spiritual man, you may be offended on what I'm saying. If a man get offended on what I'm talking about tonight, you are not, and I'm telling you straight up in your face, you are not a spiritual man. You are a man of the flesh. If you want to come and contradict what I'm saying, because only men of the spirit understand what I'm saying. I'm not trying to get rah-rah and light from women and stuff like that. But brothers, you are a man. Men are created to be the head and leader of relationship. But a lot of men, they mislead women. So therefore, women are the weaker vessels. Women are the weaker vessels. So I'm talking, like I said, if I offend any men, it's only men that are the flesh, not men of the spirit. Now, where are those doors? That's the question. Where are the doors to a woman? These are the doors to you, sister. You got a door called your ears, your sight, your nose, your heart, your body, your resources. But I will expound on those a little later. But I'm not going to explain it, but I'm going to expound on them shortly, okay? Now, these are some lines that some of you sisters hear a whole lot. Some of you sisters, you were raised up on some of these lines. And it's sad to say some of your mothers raised you up on some of these lines. How you doing, Sister Flo? Welcome to the dinner table. Some of you sisters, you was raised up, and some of your mothers didn't know no better. Some of you were raised up with your father. Some of them didn't know no better. Some of you were raised up with your mother and father, and some of them didn't know no better. But some of the things that I'm about to say, there are 7 things that I'm about to say that some of you sisters, not all of you, you was taught it was supposed to be something to help you out, but it was really not right, okay? It was meant to help you out, but it's not right. These are some things that are taught to Western women. Western women, not Eastern women, but Western women. Number one, some things that some of you sisters were brought up with, what is I see the point, but I don't see the point. Now, number one, don't depend on no man but get your education and your own thing. Some of you sisters, it was driven into your mind, don't depend on no man, but get your education and your own thing. Is it anything wrong with that? Not entirely wrong. But if somebody telling you don't depend on a man, why? I mean, sister, the Bible clearly say that the woman was created for the man. And it said that it's not good for a man to be alone. So when God created a man and a woman, he created a man and a woman to coexist together. God created a man to depend on a woman, and he created a woman to depend on the man. Because a woman is basically the helpmeet of the man. So number one, if your mother and father taught you that and didn't teach you nothing from a spiritual point, they were telling you things from a world standpoint. But nothing is entirely wrong with it. Number two, don't let no man tell you what to do. Some of you sister, you was brought up and you were taught don't let no man tell you what to do. Now, what it means is you don't let no man that is not committed, not serious, not committed, and not in a covenant relationship tell you what to do, because he's not your husband. That part should have been driven into your mind. If the man is not your husband, you don't owe him anything. But if he's your husband, the dynamics of the relationship, it changes, sisters, okay? Number three, and some of you sisters have heard this before, Don't be with no man unless he have the bag. He needs to take care of you 100% because his money is your money. But your money is your money. Some of you sisters were taught that. Again, don't be with no man unless he have the bag. What is the bag? Money, that ching-ching. Some of you, it was driven into your head when you were small. Don't be with no man unless he got that money. But let me tell you clearly, Jesus basically said that a man's life does not consist on what he has. Now listen what Jesus said. A man's life does not consist of what he has. It's about who that man is. That's what some of you sisters not taught. You're not taught about being with a man based on who he is, but a lot of you was taught to be with a man for what he has. Because most of the time when it comes to a relationship, sister, and you know I'm not telling no lie. How you doing, Sister Angela? You know I'm not telling a lie. Most of the time when you, sister, bring up a man to your family friend, you know what the first thing they ask you? What does he do? That's the first thing they ask. What does he do? They don't ask you who is, they don't really say what is it about that man. They don't even say what is it about that man, meaning who is this man? The first thing they want to know, you know, what does he do? That means money. It's understandable, but it's secondary to who that man is. Because like I said, Jesus said a man's, whatever man has, and I'm paraphrasing it, that is not the man. A man's life does not consist of what he has. Because Jesus said, basically, what will a man exchange for his soul? So, sister, the most important thing, how you doing, Brother Moses? So, sister, the most important thing is what type of soul that man has. Not the resources, because he could lose all that in a short period of time. Ask Brother Job in the Bible. He lost all his wealth, his health, his children, and everything in a short period of time. It don't take that much. A man could be a millionaire, but he could lose it all in a short period of time. So if you're into a man, sister, based on what he has instead of who he is, you ain't got no relationship. You trying to use the man. Number 4, what some of you sisters were taught, which is wrong. You was taught this. Test him. Test him. See, some of you sisters, not all of you, you like to play mental, unnecessary games with a man. What do I mean? You want to see how far will he run after you? Will he pursue you? Will he call you? Will he text you? Will he take you here? Will he do this? Will he do that? A lot of you sisters, you test men and it's stupid. As a matter of fact, it's childish, sister, when you want to text a wrong man. Well, not text, but test a man. Now, if it's a worldly man probably will let you test him, but he looking for something on the back end, and you know what I'm talking about. But a spiritual man, if you want to test a spiritual man, he's gonna do this to you. He's gonna say deuces. He's gonna cut, because a spiritual man doesn't have time to play with a woman. A spiritual man, he can have a good sense of humor, but he's serious-minded. Because a spiritual man, he is here about business. A spiritual man know who he is. He know what, because he know who he is, because he has a relationship with God. Also, the spiritual man know why he's here. He got his mission and purpose from God. And he also know his destiny. He know that he's going to be with God, and he want to take you, sister, to God with him, and he want to take the world with him. That's a spiritual man. He doesn't have time for all those tests. Number 5, some of you sisters, you've been taught this. Make sure that you're number 1 in the man's life. A lot of you sisters are taught by your mama, by your dad, by other people. Make sure that you're number 1 in the man's life. Sister, you should accept being number 2 in that man's life. What do I mean by that? And I have said this over and over again. Number 1 should be Jesus. You should not try to get in the driver's seat on a man and be his top priority. That man's top priority is his relationship and his role with God. That's what this man's supposed to be. You should regulate, sister, your position to number two. Number two, sister, that's the best position to be in when you're with a man. Number one, you stand back and let that man have a relationship with God. He need one-on-one time with God. He need to do things for God. And you should be a part of it. So, sister, never try to be number one in that man's life. Worldly women try to be number ones in a man's life. Worldly women want all that man attention on her. Sister, when you with a man of God, all his attention not going to be on you. His attention going to be first and foremost on God. I'm telling you, if you want to get in a relationship with a spiritual man, you got to understand his focus is on God. But while his focus on God, God going to instill in that man to make time and do things for you. You will be the second most important thing or person in that man's life. Nobody's going to come between God and you. Everything and everybody going to come after you. Number 6, don't be no boss lady. And don't walk around saying that you're strong and independent. You see, when you say you're a boss lady, you coming into a relationship like you going to run things. Worldly women think that they are boss ladies. They want to run things. You could run a company, but you cannot run no house. You supposed to guide the house. The man is over the home. You supposed to guide it. He rules. You have to understand priority, but when he rules the home, he's not a dictator. Worldly men will act like they dictators and say, do what I say, don't do what I do. But spiritual men, they willing to be a leader and the head of a home. Not you. There are not two heads on the body. If there are two heads on the body, you are considered a freak. You supposed to be in the zoo or the circus, or you'll be an exhibit if you want to be the head. It can't be no two heads. Even when you look at the corporate world, there are not two heads. There's only one CEO. There are not no two CEOs in one company, because everything got to be in order. Even up in heaven, it's God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Ghost. When it comes to relationship with God, there's order. It's God the Father, Jesus. You said God is the head of man. God is the head of the Lord Jesus. Jesus is the head of man, and man is the head of woman. That's the organization. If it's out of whack, that's Satan's organization. Because Satan wants you to be number one in that man's life. He want to take your priorities and everything, and he wants to pervert it. And some of your mothers and fathers and some of your friends teaching you to be a boss lady and strong and independent. Most women that are worldly women, they got this attitude now. They want to be the boss woman, the strong woman. And some of them call themselves the female version of a dog that start with a B. Some women go around here, they even call themselves bees. And you know what I'm talking about, right? I'm not going to say the word. And some of you sisters, you know what a dog is, the female version of a dog, and you know what that's called, what start with a B, right? And some women, you address each other like that. That's very disrespectful. And brother, it's very disrespectful if you call a woman that name. You don't want nobody calling your mama a B. You don't want nobody calling your sister a B. You don't want nobody calling your daughter a B. So how can you, brothers, some of you brothers, it's going to be worldly brothers anyway. You got worldly men, especially a lot in the entertainment world, sports world, whatever, and even on the street, they call women the B word. That's very disrespectful. Now, in number 7, always, and this is another thing that a lot of you sisters are taught, which is wrong. Always keep something on the side and don't tell him what you got. Always keep something on the side, but keep up with what he has. You understand that? Some of you sisters are taught, keep a nest egg on the side, or even keep a side dude on the side, because you don't never know when he's going to go. You're going to always need something on the side. So, and then there's a lot of time, a lot of women, they could be call themselves in a serious, committed, and covenant relationship, but just for the sake of it, they're going to have a man for everything else and they had a husband for one thing, but they had other men in the wings to do other things. Sister, that's not the right. You supposed to basically go to your husband after the Lord for everything. You don't supposed to have no side man just in case it fall apart. So if you got a side man for just in case it fall apart, you're not all in. Okay, when it comes to relationships, sister, if you expect for a man to be 100%, you have to be 100% in the relationship. Now, some of the things that I just said, that's the Western logic. It's so messed up, it's so perverted. That is not God's way. That's the world's way of what I just described. And that's the Western women. Now, before a man find you, sister, listen to this. Before a man find you, what position are you in life right at this moment as I speak to you? Where are you at in life right now? As a matter of fact, sister, it's something very interesting because how you carry yourself, that has a lot of weight on how men see you. Believe me, how you carry yourself, how you talk, how you move, and how you dress. First of all, since men are visual, before you say anything or before you move, you can just be standing there, but men are visual. So men going to sum you up, first of all, based on how you present yourself, how you look. And then how you move and how you talk is last with men. It's how your appearance, how you move, and how you talk. The talk part is the last part. Okay, what do I mean by that? When a man approaches, sister, when a man approaches you, got to understand when men approach you, they look at you a certain way. They may not tell you, but I'm going to tell you how some men look at you. You either, and I have said it before, they either going to look at you as a wife material or not wife material. If they view you as not wife material, this is how men view you, the world of men. They view you as, they could say you a trick, and it's not Halloween, so I'm not saying trick or treat. They may view you as a trick based on your presentation. Or they could say that you're a midnight snack. What do I mean by a midnight snack? Somebody that they could just come to you after the midnight hour when you know what they want. They don't want nothing there with you, but they want to ride through in the midnight hour. How you doing, Sister Deborah D. Scott? Welcome to the dinner table. When I say a midnight snack, some guys, and I'm going to tell you in the generic term, they look at you, sister, as a booty call. And after the booty call, some guys, they will look at you as what you're doing. What does what you're doing mean? That means that this man got free time and he wants to fill his void time up, and he happened to think about you when he said, what you doing? So that means he really got free time. So he just trying to pencil you in to extract something out of you, and then he going to be gone on his way. And then it's like he might get in a full-fledged relationship with you. He might get into a relationship where he move in with you or you move in with him. He would say he's serious. He would say that he's committed, but he's not planning on marrying you. Whenever the word about marriage come up, he runs away. He don't even want to talk about it because he doesn't look at you as that one. And then if you start talking, and I have said it before, sometimes these guys, they will go to a jewelry store and buy you a ring just to shut your mouth up. And you know, instead of being an engagement ring, you know what I call it? I call it a shut up ring. There's a lot of you sister, unfortunately, you wearing a lot of shut up rings. This guy, he had not set a date to marry you. You have flaunted it out to your family, your friends, social media, and then you still don't know when you're supposed to get married. So all he doing is just got you a ring to shut your mouth up. Now, these type of women that most men look at are men of the world. They look at you like that. But they can't look at you like this if you're a daughter of God. There is a distinct difference from how worldly men look at worldly women and how godly men look at worldly women and spiritual women. If you're a spiritual woman, everything that I just said, no worldly man would be able to say she one of those that I just listed, because you're going to be unique based on how you dress, based on how you talk and based on how you move. Because if it's a word of man, he gonna somewhat be intimidated to approach you. But you know why he gonna be somewhat, and he might not even understand it. He gonna know that he got to come to you the correct way if you're a daughter of God. But he will try you now. Worldly men will try you to see, do you have a little worldliness in you? But if you're a daughter of God, you have wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and discernment, and you're going to carry yourself like that. You, sister, are a queen because you are the daughter of God. So any man just ain't no walk up to you, taking you for granted, calling you, thinking you a worldly woman. Now, a woman should be prepared to accept. Listen to this, sister. When it comes to a relationship, you should be prepared to accept nothing less than being a man's wife. I'm going to say that 2 more times. You should, sister, you should accept nothing less. If you are interested in being in a relationship with a man, you should expect nothing less than to be a wife. I got to say that 1 more time. That's the 3rd time. Sister, you should be prepared to accept nothing less than to be viewed as a man's wife. If a man doesn't view you as a man, as a wife, there's a problem. There's a problem. And you have to nip that in the bud at the beginning, like Bonifant would say. You got to nip that in the bud at the beginning. Now, why lower yourself? Because God created you, sister, for a man. God actually created you for a man, sister. You didn't just come because your mother and daddy got together and was physical. God created you for a reason. And the Bible clearly say why God created you, sister. It said in 1 Corinthians 11:8. 1 Corinthians 11:8. 1 Corinthians 11:8. It said, for man did not come from woman. A man did not come from a woman. In the beginning, because Adam did not come from a woman. But it said, but the woman from the man. Eve came from the man. The original man did not come from a woman. But the original woman came from a man. Also, the woman's role in a man's life is to be a helpmate, or to say it differently, a helpmeet. As it is written in Genesis 2:18, Genesis 2:18, Genesis 2:18. And the Lord said, it is not good for a man to be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him, which means not a worldly woman of the flesh. She's a woman of the spirit. And if she knows this, sister, if you know this, you know who you are. You are a virtuous woman. You are a unicorn-like woman. You, sister, should not accept nothing less from no man. Because you got to understand who your father is. I'm not talking about your earthly father. I'm talking about the fathers of father. Your father, I got to tell you, and you got to get this in your head, some of you sisters, God is your father. If you understand that God is your father, you are royalty. You are royalty, sister, so be that queen. You don't date peasants. A peasant is a worldly fleshly man. You're not into that. You have standards. You have spiritual standards. Then the worldly part comes second, but you have spiritual standards. That man got to see you as wife material. That man got to see you as a woman that God brought to him. That man has to see you as a helpmeet because God gave that man the purpose, that gift. He also gave you a purpose and gift. And when God unites you, you are what people call a power couple. Some people call a power couple based on how they look together, or their resources that they have together, or their popularity. That's what the world means by power couple. But brother and sister, you are a power couple if God is your father's brother and God is your sister and God is your God. So the man got God in him, the woman got God in him. You are the power couple. You live in this world, but you're not of this world. Now, the first thing, some of you sisters, the very first thing that you should consider when it comes to being in a relationship, you know what you should consider when a man walks up to you? This is the first thing you should consider, sister. Look, check this out. Do you know what this is? Do you know what this is? When a man approach you, sister, this the first. When a man approach you, he say he wants to get to know you. This is what you immediately do on the inside. This is an hourglass. This you, sister. When that man start talking to you, you see how that sand running down, if you can see it. If you can see it, this is you. This is your patience when it comes to a man. When this sand runs out, that's when you run out. Steve Harvey say 90 days. You ain't no getting no 90 days out of this. But Steve Harvey be gracious. He said 90 days. But Tony is not being gracious. Tony's saying this. Why do Tony say the hourglass? Because you don't have time. You don't have that time. Once the sand run out when you talking to a man, that's it. Because he's not serious. If the man is not serious, and you just do it like this, just look at it. You can hold this up in his face, sisters. Do you remember what I said earlier, sisters? When I said, where are the doors to a woman? And I listed these. The ears, the sight, the nose, the heart, the will, the mind, the body, and the resources. Why did I name them like that? Let me tell you how worldly men approach you. This is the game plan. So you need to listen up, get your pen and pad out, because I'm going to tell you how worldly men approach you. This is the game. Even worldly men, they don't understand this, even though they do it. But this is the strategy how worldly men attract you. The first thing they have to do is get to your ears. That's the very first thing they got to do. They got to get to your ears and tell you some sweet lies. They have to tell you something to make you feel good. They might catch you at what they call the right time. You could feel low, but they got to come with some sugar. They got to sprinkle some sugar on you. They got to sprinkle some sugar on those words. So that means that's how they approach you, with their ears. Secondly, they approach you with the sight. The sight. You're going to look at them naturally. You look at them and you see, is he got these dimensions, the six pack and all that kind of stuff. So secondly, they hoping to get you with how they look. Thirdly, your nose. How you doing, Sister Cheryl? Thirdly, your nose. Men know to throw on some good smelling cologne. Men know because they know you all have a high sense of smell. So after the first thing, after they say some sweet lies in your ears, or tell you what you want to hear, and then you check out how he dressed or whatever he have, his ride or his house or stuff, then the next thing to know how he smelled. So he knows to get some good smelling cologne that goes with his body. After he get through the sight, the ear, the sight, and the nose, it's about your heart. Now he got to work on your heart. He's going to knock on that door. He's going to knock on the door of your heart because he know that you're emotional. So if he could pass those first three things, I'm talking about a man of the world, he got to work on your heart. He got to soften you up and continue to make you feel good. So he got to work on your emotions. If you feel down, he got to come and rescue you. If you feel up, he got to be your biggest cheerleader. But all that time, he is treating you like a Thanksgiving turkey. He's getting you prepared. Because like those Thanksgiving turkeys, you know what they do? They be eating real good close to the Thanksgiving. That's when they really be getting fed a lot. And they just thinking it must be a good day. And they just eat, gobble, gobble, gobble. But what they don't know, come close to Thanksgiving, they about to get it. Excuse me, they about to get it. And the next thing they know, they head chopped and they on somebody's plate. That's what these guys gonna do. After that, after they get to your heart, they got to get past your will. You see, you might be on the fence and you wondering, should I give him all my all or should I not? But if they pass the ears, the sight, the nose, and the heart, naturally, you're going to say yes. And once you say yes, he's going to move to your mind. You're going to find yourself thinking about him all the time. You're going to be thinking about him more than God. Some of you might be thinking about him more than if you have children. Some of you will think about him more than your own child because you don't have God there, so God can regulate your thought process. And after that, after he have your ears, your sight, your nose, your heart, and your will, and your mind, he got your body. And when he got your body and it feels good to you physically, you get confused and you think that is love because he said, I want to make love to you. He played those songs about he wants to make love to you. That's what he talk about. He's not going to say, let me make lust to you. He's going to say, let me make love to you. And once he make love to you and it feels good to you physically, which is just a few minutes anyway, and that's not how the relationship going to go, especially he's going to probably start yawning, especially if you're not the one that he view as a wife. And then it's about your resources, what you got that he can extract from you. You might have more assets than him, but he knows that he can start getting stuff from you. You're going to find yourself paying his bills. You're going to find yourself paying for everything. And you think you're doing something for him. And more than likely, when you start doing all that stuff for a man and he's not contributing to you, especially financial, he's going to take what you got, misuse it, and he's going to more than likely use it on another woman. Now, men of the flesh want to get the keys to those doors. They want to get the keys to those doors, but not men of the spirit. So men of the world, they're going to work on your emotions. That's where they're going to come from. They're going to try to get to your emotions. Now, what are emotions? I'm glad you asked. When we go to the dictionary, emotion is defined as a natural instinct, state of mind, deriving from one's circumstance, mood, relationship with others. That is emotion. Now, what is an instinct? An instinct is defined as an inborn pattern or behavior often responsive to a specific stimuli, or to say it differently, a strong impulse, your feelings. Now, when a woman is dealing with a man, it is very imperative that she use her wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and especially her discernment. Now, discernment, my sisters and brothers, is defined from a Christian standpoint. Discernment is defined as the perception of the absence of judgment with a view to obtain spiritual guidance and understanding. So a woman, a woman of God, sister, if you're a woman of God, you do not depend on your emotions. You have graduated from the emotion. You depend on discernment, and discernment comes from your relationship of God, your Father. If you go by strictly by your emotion, you depending on Satan to make you feel good. Because Satan got some someone that know how to come and make you feel real good. But with God, God gives you that discernment so you can see things from a spiritual nature. So when God gives you that discernment, when a guy walk up to you, you're going to say, I know exactly where he coming from. He could be doing all that talk and all that kind of stuff, but God's Spirit going to say, he ain't right. God's Spirit going to say, look how he looking at you. Look how he licking his lips. Look at the type of compliment he tell you, like, you so fine. You sure look good in that dress. And he look like he could eat you up like you a good big hamburger. So not a hamburger, a steak at Ruth Chris. He look at you that kind of way. He say look out of the way things to see, are you going to take it up? Sweet nothing. Now a woman, remember the topic, a woman must put a time limit on the relationship. Now let's talk. Remember this, what I pulled up earlier. This is what you have to do, not the 90-day rule. Not the 90-day rule. You got to get to it quick. If you decide to go on a date with a man, you got to be businesslike. Always remember, I said, when it comes to dating, you can have fun, but going on a date is not for fun. When you talk to a man, sister, there are 7 things that you need to get clear first and foremost. Number 1, you need to know who that man is. You got to get that man to talk, listen to him talk, and watch, does his talk go with his actions? Does his talk go with his action? Number 2, you need to ask this man, what is your purpose in life? Not what is his goal, but his purpose. See, a purpose and a goal is different. It may seem the same, but it's different. You don't want to know about his goal right out. You want to know what his purpose. And he get his purpose from God. His goal is something that he can set for himself, but his purpose comes from God. Number 3, you need to ask this man, where are you going? Because he need a destination. If this man is a godly man, he know his destination. He know that his destination is in heaven. He know that he's a pilgrim on earth. He know that he's not a part of earth. He just, as that song say, he just a passing through. Because heaven is his home. Because the angels beckon him from heaven open door. So he don't feel at home here anymore. So after you see where he's going, cause you want him to lead you the right way, right? You need to ask him, what do you need from me? Not what you want. Change that word up. What do you need from me? Look him in the eye and say, what do you need from me? At the time running out on him, not no 90 days. What do you need from me? After that, number 5, what type of relationship do you want from me? You have to clearly have that defined. You need to know exactly. You don't want him to leave it open like just let's see where it's going. You need to know what type of relationship he wants from you. Then, like I have said before, then you ask the question, do you see me as a wife? And they're going to throw them out. They're going to throw most men out because they want to say, why is this woman talking about a marriage and stuff already? You need to know. Say, do you see me as a wife? Especially if you have gone out a few times. Do you see me as a wife? If he say yes, it's the other question. Okay, if you see me as a wife, when are we going to do it? You see? It's almost over. That dating stuff almost over. You got to get the business early. Like I said, this is not no beat down on my spiritual brother. Worldly men going to have a problem with this because they think they're going to be siding with women. I'm not siding with women. Well, women, according to the Bible, are the weaker vessel. It not mean they stupid or less intelligent. The Bible clearly say, Peter said that women are the weaker vessel. And if you're married, a man or the Lord, he's gonna love you with an understanding heart. He's gonna love you unconditionally. He's gonna love you to the point where he's willing to lay down his life for you. Worldly men like that. Worldly men said, you take one for the team. And with that said, my brothers and sisters, I hope that you sisters got something out of it. Brothers, when it comes to a woman, remember, God created the woman the last part of creation. After God created everything, he created man on the 6th day. And then when he created woman because she's the cherry on top of the pie. Brother, you are the pie, but she's the cherry on top of the pie. Because God created the woman last. When God created the woman last, God, you know what God said when he looked at all of that? And when he created the woman, God said, it's good. And so it is good. I hope that you all enjoyed this good soul food tonight, my brothers and sisters. I hope that you did, because your brother Tony, he enjoyed serving you up today. I love you, brother. I love you, sister. Peace out.